despite all of the obstacles to Trump, that the message is getting through. He used Twitter to his advantage, I think, in 2016. The environment's changed. He doesn't use it as much. Conservatives have such faith in the free market that will solve things. It looked like that was sort of happening in the late 90s and early 2000s with Fox News. And I think Brit Hume was one who would say that he sort of had two assumptions. One is that they would be wildly successful, and that the other was that many people would follow them. And others didn't. Even ones that are so ABC and NBC are lost. As my history professor in college would say, that part of the empire is lost to the barbarians pushing, and we're never getting it back. CBS would be a logical one, actually, to go centrist. Anyway, long story short is, do you think that he is actually getting through, and is there any hope? Of course, you have conservative media properties, but I mentioned that ABC News lost 1 million viewers. I mean, can you believe they had 1 million viewers? There are like 7 million people who watch that program every night.
The Zoolander host. I think he is, partly because he's providing solutions. He does have quite a platform. People are covering, and people are realizing, we know that Kamala Harris will be a continuation, if not worse, of the status quo, which, of course, is horrible economic news. Inflation, the disaster on the southern border, immigration, which is meant to import new voters, and quite frankly, I think destroy the fabric of this country, because I truly believe this, Christian. Those that are adamantly opposed to representative democracy, who have tried to destroy the moral and political authority of the U.S. Constitution, I would argue for the last 100 years, which is what the progressives have tried to do, loathe the founders, loathe their founding documents and the government that comes out of those founding documents. They are trying to destroy the moral fabric of this country. I would argue, and I put this in the book, they look at us as being the ones who are disruptive. All we want is a restoration of what a republic is. We want the restoration of our rights, free speech, free flow of information, all these things that we are guaranteed that we should be having, that governments are meant to secure and take none of them away. So we're not really the revolutionaries. They are. They are the ones trying to destroy what we once had, and in its place raise up a new form of government, which is the administrative state. So has Trump broken through? I think so. I think that Kamala Harris, despite the fact that she is the nation's leading purveyor of word salads, has an inability to communicate what they're actually trying to do, but doesn't want to. I mean, Christian, do you really want her going into fine point detail on her Soviet-style price controls? Do you really want her talking about coercive socialism of the Green New Deal, which is what it is? So they're trying to do this kind of, hide the football sort of thing, while Donald Trump is out there going, I've got solutions. And they know he does, because he was in office for 4 years and was actually quite successful, even though he was under constant political attack for, I would say, even before he was sworn in, and certainly through all 4 years of him being in office.
Well, and Mark, sort of same question to you. I mean, there's a lot of money on the conservative side. Why isn't there more conservative media, more outlets for people like Trump?
Well, I think, quite frankly, it comes down to be perfectly honest with you, is it's years ago, Jim Broyhill, who was a senator from North Carolina, somebody asked him why we don't have better candidates. And he said, because we can get better jobs. And I remember asking him about, I can't remember her name right now. She was a Democratic congressperson. And he said, they said, what do you think what she's going to do after? He goes, she's never leaving Congress. It's the best job she's ever had. No, he goes, look at her. Do you think she couldn't manage a 7-Eleven? And I think it's one of the things that we really forget. And I think, quite frankly, sometimes we're not as decent about. One of the hopes that I have, again, I'm kind of out there with this, is like, I think a lot of what's happened in our world with, I call the productive class, with other people, is our lives have gotten a lot better in the last 25 years. Everything really has. Technology's made a massive choice. These little things we have in our pockets, the variety of food, the spread of logistics, you know what I'm saying, that's allowed things to come to us from every place. My point is, despite the administrative state, we've been able to outpace it. Now, I believe that was the case until the last maybe 10 years. And I think the rot's been catching up. In other words, I think everybody's life was getting better. Even under someone like Clinton, it was getting better and better. Under Bush, not a lot of damage done, but not good. And then it started getting worse. Ned brought up regulations. Quite frankly, I'm a business guy. I would rather, in Hong Kong, we used to have a saying with our low tax rate, we would rather take a percentage point increase in taxes than add another page to our 4-page income tax form because we just hated the regulation. But my belief is what's happening now, and I see it online, is people are starting to see that all these increases in their productivity and quality of life are slowing down drastically. And I think what I hope Trump and I hope other people connect to them is they're seeing this slowing. And in other words, I don't think they're going to have their heads in their phones all day long. You know, I got to tell you, my son he's in grad school, but a lot of his friends came out and these guys have good schools, good degrees. 5 years ago, before COVID, they all had, because we know the area, we all have friends. There were a lot of job offers. A lot of these guys are struggling for job offers. There's a few of them are coming, but they don't really have what they had. I sense it. I sense when you go on campuses now, you see, I don't think in 2016, there wouldn't be many Trump rallies because the guys would be a little bit scared and intimidated. You're seeing stuff on campus now that people are just like, I got to do it.
Can I say two things really quick, Christian, that Mark said that really spurred a few thoughts? One, we need to change our mindset and how we're approaching politics. Progressives, this is their religion, the administrative state, their golden calf. And they approach all of this as religious zealots. We are going to remake and reshape this country into an image of our own making. The problem with most people on the right is they're careerists. They want to show up in D.C., have a wonderful career. Didn't I have a great time? Yeah, I got to be a congressman or senator. And these you're never going to beat religious zealots with careerists. So we have to change our mindset and how we approach all of this. And then you're making this point. I think this is what is happening over the last decade. I make the comparison to the administrative state as a system dynamics in which reinforcing loops, they strengthen themselves, and it's like compounding interest where it starts slowly and over the course of time, like compounding interest, it all of a sudden just starts to explode. And I think that's what we're kind of seeing a little bit where over the course of the last 100 years, it's been building, building, building. And now all of the sudden, which isn't really all of a sudden, it's been building, we're seeing this massive growth where it's the regulations and this massive state are weighing the American people down on a whole host of fronts, whether it's personal freedom, whether it's economic freedom, you name it, because it's all starting to explode in size and weighing down the American people's chance for all of these freedoms and opportunities that we've had in the past that I think are in real danger right now.